Immediately following the stroke, I had no feeling right to left side, had difficulty swallowing, no mobility, no motion. After a period of a number of days, the mobility started to increase on the left side. The right side, of course, was completely numb, had no movement whatsoever. I had severe vision problems, double vision, and bouncing horizon. Had speech difficulties, a lot of cognitive, mental problems. Couldn't think linearly or hold conversations very well. We tend to forget, and no balance. My challenge is I was totally frustrated, very irritated at my body, my mind, because I couldn't accomplish what I wanted to do. Probably one of the biggest challenges is everybody's looking, as a stroke survivor, you're looking for that big thing to happen. And the big thing doesn't happen. It's the little things that begin to add up to the big things. That persistence pays off.
Was NeuroAid, I know it's known by another name in China, was it like a very integral part of your treatment then?
Extremely integral. It was the medication given at the onset. And literally, as that medication, again, worked in conjunction with all the other things, you found yourself thinking more clearly, your increases are functioning better. You're finding out that stimulation, the blood qi, as they would refer to it, is working better.
How do you feel about NeuroAid being marketed, being sold right now to other markets outside of China?
I'm thrilled, and they cannot market it fast enough, because no stroke survivor should ever have to deal with or be tossed aside or threatened with the disabilities that I know that they can begin to overcome. And NeuroAid is an integral part of that. It is a major component in overcoming those disabilities and beginning to get the function back.
But I had these surprising good neurological outcome in these initial cases. And again, no true attributable complications or side effects. And I think I'm less personally skeptic now, but I think, it's still only level 3 evidence, say what you want. I think expert opinion, anecdotal case reports. But I just want to say something about evidence-based medicine. I mean, we can't all wait for level 1 evidence to be present before we practice medicine. I think the reality is in a lot of things, a lot of clinical practice, we all waited level 1 evidence before decide what to do. We won't be practicing medicine. We'll just be waiting for trial results to come in all the time. So I think sometimes you just have to go on good hunches or what we think is the best for the patient.
Now, if you look at the modified Rankin scale, looking at the shift analysis, and you can see that these are the independent patients from 0 to 2, and then they have shifted. We are now seeing more patients in Rankin scale 1, 0, and 2. To show you some of the scientific publications on NeuroAid. It has been published on stroke. You can see the different journals. They're all peer-reviewed and with high impact factor, from cerebrovascular disease, the Journal of International Stroke Journal, and of course the Journal of Stroke.
So when we cultivate these cells, they look like that. And you see that they look in good health. They look green. Keep them for a longer time in culture, the number will decrease. But if you apply to these cells, in addition to the normal medium, the preparation of NeuroAid at that time indicated to you at the 8th already, you see big differences. And you see that at day 14, while many of the cells here have died, and the surviving cells do not extend so many dendrites, here, after the extract of neuroid treatment, you have cells that are still at the neuroblast cell stage because they color green, but they extend a lot of dendrites. You see that the mice which have been treated by neuroid have a very significant decrease in fat volume. So neuroid taken preventively in the drinking water decreases in fat volume. These mice, we analyzed also the behavior. Only the motor behavior of the mice and the activity behavior of the mice. And that have the controls that have not been treated by neuroid, I mean, stay no time. And those which have been treated with neuroid stay a very significant length of time. So clearly, there is a drastic difference between the two categories. Neuroid at the present stage seems to stimulate neurogenesis, both in vitro and in vivo. Neuroid seems to be a neuroprotector, both in vitro and in vivo. Neuroid is a probable vasodilator. This has to be extended to other species and also to be made in other situations which are closer to the clinics. And both pre and post-treatment with neuroid have positive effect against stroke.
Great to have you with us for this edition of the Asia Business Report on BBC World. I'm Rico Hizon in Singapore. Traditional Chinese medicine is already popular at home and in many parts of Asia. It's big business, worth about $5 billion a year. But many in the West find Eastern remedies hard to swallow. A landmark clinical trial could offer proof, opening other markets for traditional Asian medicine. Juliana Liu has more.
Meet Mr. Abdul Hamid. Until a few weeks ago, he was enjoying his retirement. But then he suffered a stroke and can barely move his left side. He's taking part in the first trial of its kind. These pills could be a placebo, or they could be the real thing, made from 12 different Chinese herbs, plus extracts of leech and scorpion. They're thought to help the brain forge new connections. Do you think you will be able to cycle again?
Can. This depends on your heart. If you try, can. If you don't try, won't. Everything all must try, right?
Okay, maybe you should just take the
This is one of the doctors in charge. Eventually, more than 1,000 patients across Southeast Asia will be recruited to test the stroke drug, called NeuroAid, and originally developed in China.
By doing a clinical trial, it's the best way right now to internationally establish the safety and the efficacy of medications. And then this would help make it more acceptable to the international community, and thereby hopefully helping more people who suffer stroke.
Traditional Chinese medicine is already quite popular, though scientific proof is scarce. Now, people here in Asia have relied on traditional remedies for thousands of years. And this is a typical Chinese medicine shop. It's full of dried herbs. And here we have 3 different kinds of ginseng root. All kinds of dried roots, herbs, and even sea creatures are for sale. This man is trying to commercialize the stroke drug. If it goes well, he'd like to bring other Asian treatments to the West. It'll be at least 2 years before the clinical trial yields hard evidence. For now, stroke patients rely mostly on physical therapy. But if the drug works, many more patients will be able to benefit. Juliana Liu, BBC News, Singapore.
the Singapore Entrepreneurial Company of the Year. Because this award is conferred upon a Singapore-based biopharmaceutical company that markets a novel product targeted at survivors of ischemic strokes. Derived from traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, the product facilitates the post-stroke rehabilitation process, and in doing so, fills a gap that Western medicine does not fill. Clinical trials are currently underway to expand indications for the product's use. And since its inception in 2003, the company has moved ahead steadily and earned revenues of $600,000 in 2008. A hybrid distribution model that includes internet sales has enabled the company to achieve current revenues. The product's availability expanded into the Philippines, Malaysia, and other Asian nations in 2008, and the company also set up a European subsidiary in preparation for product registration in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all please congratulate the recipient of the Singapore Entrepreneurial Company of the Year Award, to Molayak.